think perhaps just once I might use the bathroom by myself?
Most amusing, sir.
Wipers!
It's been 33 years, but everyone's favorite royals from Zamunda are back in Coming to America, which features Eddie Murphy's newly crowned King Akeem as he discovers the existence of a long-lost son back in New York. Bringing the 30-something Lavelle into the fold, along with his baby mama, played by Leslie Jones, Akeem must contend with an angry wife, an even angrier daughter who's furious her place in the royal lineage is being usurped, and a warlord from a neighboring country who wants to marry into the family or assassinate Akeem. Whatever's easiest. Coming to America reteams Murphy with his Dolomite Is My Name director Craig Brewer, who once again gets a revitalized, energetic performance out of the former and future superstar Murphy, who, I have to say, is in the midst of a most welcome comeback. A decidedly more family-friendly movie than their last work together, this warm-hearted comedy should prove just the ticket to put a smile on a lot of people's faces once it hits Amazon Prime on March 5th, after having been sold in a rich deal by Paramount Pictures due to, COVID-19. First things first, however. Coming to America is funny, but it ain't raunchy. In fact, I'd wager the original film actually isn't as raunchy as folks remember outside of the F-bombs, which are wholly absent here.
Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
Brewer's crafted a pretty family-friendly sequel, albeit not quite at the cuddly level of a series of family comedies Murphy became known for in the wake of The Nutty Professor. This has the same DNA as the original, and indeed the same DNA as some of Eddie Murphy's best work from the 80s and early 90s. And while it's aimed at a family audience, it's not necessarily geared towards kids, making it more or less in line with the original in that vein. Again, minus the F-bombs, although the royal bathers are still there, they're just wearing a lot more clothes this time.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Murphy's once again great as Akeem, although as in the original, Akeem is kind of the straight man in this. He's a square-jawed leading man type, more so than most other Murphy characters. He's not outrageous like Axel Foley or, of course, Rudy Ray Moore. The outrageousness, rather, comes from the other characters both he and co-star Arsenio Hall play, notably the loud-mouthed NYC barbers who show up a few times alongside some favorites from the original. Hall is back, of course, as Akeem's loyal right-hand man, with him playing well-off new cast member Tracy Morgan, who has a role as Lavelle's kind of father figure uncle. The two, of course, do not get along. Jermaine Fowler makes a very appealing and likable prince in training. They really don't make him a silly character. They make him kind of a lot like Akeem in the original film. He means well, and he even has a very sweet romance with the royal barber that nicely parallels Akeem's story in the original. He wants love, just like Akeem did, but in this one, Akeem is kind of in his father's role, which was played by James Earl Jones in the original, and of course he's also back for the sequel. Akeem wants his son to marry Wesley Snipes' daughter in this so that he could have peace between the countries, but doesn't pay attention to the fact that his son is in love with somebody else. Sherry Headley is back as the newly crowned Queen of Zamunda, and her relationship with Murphy is great. She still looks amazing, and what I like about the movie is that she has no rivalry with Leslie Jones, despite the fact that, Murphy slept with both of them and has children with both of them. Instead, the two actually become fast friends rather than rivals, and I also really like Kiki Lane as Akeem's more than capable daughter, who would be the logical successor to the throne if Zamunda wasn't so patriarchal. If anyone comes close to stealing Coming to America, though, I have to say it's definitely Wesley Snipes as General Easy, a role that apparently Eddie Murphy himself was going to play at one point, and then was actually recalibrated for Dave Chappelle, who couldn't do the movie because he was on tour. Wesley Snipes' ideal casting, and his character is supposed to be the older brother of Akeem's scorned betrothed from the first movie. That really good-looking girl who barks.
Bark like a dog.
Snipes seems to be having the time of his life as Easy, and like in Dolomite Is My Name, he reminds everyone how long before he ever became an action star in a series of classics in the 90s, starting with Passenger 57, he was hilarious in Major League. Him and Murphy have really good chemistry and play well off each other, as neither at all seems intimidated by the other. They're both icons, so when they go at each other, it works beautifully. Neither is going to give the other an inch, and it works really, really well. So, some hardcore fans of the original may actually be put off by the overall lack of raunch, but, if you go back and you rewatch the first movie, I think you'd be surprised at how clean it actually is. Sure, there's some F-bombs, but also the movie took place in New York City in the 80s. People swore. In Zamunda, people don't really swear, they're more sophisticated, and 90% of the movie takes place in Zamunda, so it's only logical that there's not as much swearing. It can't be denied that Coming to America is a sweet-natured movie and in many ways a logical follow-up to the original, although I definitely would recommend a revisit to the movie because this picks up on a lot of jokes from the first film. Maybe too many, actually. So you really have to watch the original to appreciate all the callbacks. I can't say that I busted a gut laughing at this movie, but I did have a smile on my face throughout. I give this one a strong 7 on 10, and of course it's a must-watch once it hits Amazon Prime in March. Check it out, and I can't wait for Beverly Hills Cop 4, but please, Eddie, make it R.